Hello again and welcome back to Growing with Mags. Today I'm going to do a short video to remind you how to sow the seeds, and then I'm going to show you how to prick them out when they're finally grown. Okay, so I've got some flower seeds here which I have got free with the magazine, so I'm going to sow these today. I'm not going to sow them all to camera because there's just too many, but I will sow them all today. So I've got here my trays or pots, because I'm not sure how many seeds are actually in these packets. They're usually not very generous. So I've got Nicotiana, which is the tobacco plant. I've got some marigolds from last year, some antirrhinums, brachicum, clomi and cosmos. And I've written all the labels ready and dated them. Now we're growing today in peat-free compost, and I've already wet it up, and I've got these ready. You can also use these smaller ones. You wouldn't really want to sow seeds in anything too big, unless it's like a vegetable seed, like a bean that's going to be that is a big size. These are all tiny sizes, so you need small things. I'll have a look at the antirrhinum and see what's in here, and then I'll decide whether I'm going to put it on the tray or put it in a pot. Oh my goodness, these are so tiny. I'm not sure whether you can see those right in the box.
I can see them.
Okay, so I'll put them on my hand. They're little tiny black seeds, and what we want to try and do is sow them as thinly as possible. So I've got them in my hand. It's a bit like the size of black pepper, ground black pepper. So I'm going to try and sow them as thinly as I can, and it's much easier then when you start to prick them out. We've had one or two of the seeds that I sowed before in January, late January and early February, have started to germinate. This is very tricky because they're so tiny. Normally they come in a foil packet so you can get to the bottom of it, but these are all kind of stuck in the bottom, so you can't see that. It's probably not even worth me showing you. I'm just going to lightly cover this with some vermiculite, very lightly, very thinly, because we need the light to get to the seeds and for them to germinate. So that's all there is to that. I've lost my little tamper. There it is. So I'm just going to gently tamp those down and pop the label on. Antirrhinum 6 of the 3rd, and these trays I've had them a few years, and they come with a little lid which you can wash down each year. So that's antirrhinums. Let's pop those over there for now, and then I'm intrigued to see what's in here. This is DT brown seeds. I have bought these. Oh, and again, very tiny, and they're in a little vial.
Oh,
there we go.
that could be handy.
So at least we've got them all together, and I would definitely then just put them on the top of a pot as thinly as I can. Well, that's much easier than getting them out of a packet. Ooh.
Is it the pointy bottom of the vial?
Yeah. So there we are. So that's those.
That might be handy to keep though, mightn't it?
It might be handy to keep them, yes. So trusty label, and again just a tiny bit of vermiculite. I don't need to re-water this now because the pot is actually wet. I did a few pots and trays 2 days ago, and they've been in the greenhouse just keeping, or warming up should we say, a little bit. Just going to put my glasses on because there we go, that's better and I can see. The other thing that I like to sow quite a lot of. I again won't show you on camera, but rockets, I've got parsley here, coriander, so I'll fill those. I sow these direct into these sort of sized pots and then just leave them in the greenhouse, and so we can cut them whenever, you know, whenever necessary, so they don't need potting on or pricking out. They just grow in situ. So that's those. So I'll finish those seeds off later, and I just wanted to show you I've got some dahlias here from the 3rd of the 2nd, so these have been through and growing quite nicely, and I just want to show you a little bit of how to pot on, or prick out as it's called. Right, I've got lots of these old trays which I keep and wash every year. So there's some with 9 sections in, some with 6, that sort of thing. We can also prick out into pots or something like this. I have quite a lot of, and I've got stacks of these. I've had them for years, and again you can just wash them and put them away in the winter.
Don't we have that calendar bottom? Bottom of the inside of a calendar.
Don't know. These come in 3 sections and 4 sections, so and they come with their own tray, so they're quite handy. But I know there's a lot of plastic here, but as I say, I do reuse them year after year, so to my mind it will be a sin to actually throw them away. So this is just multi-purpose compost again now, and what I'm going to do is make a little hole. Can you see that, Tabitha? In each one, and then you just use a little fork, or this is a little dibber, two-sided,
I always call them
and
dabbers.
you get hold of your plant. As I say, these are dahlia seedlings, and you always hold them by the leaf and work it down into the hole and just gently dib around it. Okay, so that's one in. Next one in, and tighten it up. Next one, see, it's got the little roots on it, in the hole. You could wait for these to get a little tiny bit bigger if you wanted to, but they're plenty big enough to prick out now, and it's before the roots get tangled. Okay, the reason you don't hold it by its stem is you're apt to damage it then. So the leaves, it doesn't matter if the leaf falls off eventually. These are different sizes now, so I'll try and get the bigger ones. Again, this was a packet of free seeds off a magazine, which I thought was quite handy. And these will flower in the first year. The other way to grow dahlias is, of course, from corms, and I will be doing that as well, because I'm really partial to dahlias. But these are what we call bedding dahlias, which will give us nice flowers to cut, and we can have them in the house then. So I'll just fill this tray, and then I'll show you a different type of plant. And I'll put these back into the greenhouse and keep them warm, and they won't actually go out into the garden until probably about the end of May, beginning of June, depending on their size. Never prick anything out into a huge pot. Even though we know that dahlias are going to be quite big, you wouldn't put them straight into a pot that size, because they just wouldn't be happy. They'd sit in a damp condition for however long it takes, and they probably would rot and die off. So always go to, you know, a little bit bigger but not massive. These are quite tiny now. I could leave these to grow on a little bit longer. This is the thing with growing your own. They're not like commercial ones that they tend to have. Oh, I've just broken that one. Seeds that are all the same, and they're all planted in the same depth by a machine, and then they're all pricked out by a machine. So this is hand pricking out. So there we go. So those are dahlias, and I'm quite happy with that. I probably won't save any more of those, but I'll save the compost to use on the garden. So we'll put that there. And one other one I'll show you briefly, if I can find it. Where have I put it? Oh, there. Some linseeds. Now these won't be quite so easy, because if you can see, they're pretty well crowded. So they do look like cress. You're right, Tab. I'll just have a look. So again, we've got the tray that I've pre-watered, and I sit them in water so it soaks up from the bottom. Always a good way to do it. Right, now then, I'm going to dive in. So I'll push them to one side. And these are going to be very congested. I need something to put them on. Hopefully you'll be able to see this a bit better. Whoa. Right, so you'd be surprised actually how rough you can be with seedlings. Right, I've managed to, these are quite well grown.
Can you put a few of them in the same pot?
No, with these I would just do the one in each tray. I sowed these thinking my daughter wanted them, linseeds, but she tells me after I'd sown them that she was just going to scatter them, so probably would have been better scattered. But these are the only two varieties that I had to show you how to prick out, and I wanted to do that before you may get to the stage if you weren't sure what to do. I wanted to show you that, how to do it. So they're quite long, they are, the roots, so try and just gently push the root in very, very gently so you don't break the stem, and get them down as far as you can because they're quite leggy. Now I can get in there now. I've removed the first few, so a little, best if they go in straight, but you can't always get them in straight because it depends on how long their root is. There we are. See, it's got a nice few roots in. Now if I leave these any longer, they'll be so tangled that you'll never get them out.
They've got big roots, haven't they?
Yeah. There we are. I'll do the rest off camera in a moment, and it's nice that we've been able to do this outside in the fresh air, so I think spring is definitely coming. If this video has been useful, please give me a thumbs up on YouTube if you do go onto YouTube, or if you just if you watch me on Facebook, then give us a comment. I like to know that whether I'm doing it right or not. So
remember to like and subscribe on YouTube.
And Tabitha's whispering my instructions. Remember to like on YouTube and subscribe. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Bye.